All right, we're here at Rob's playing some Canadians versus some Russians, and we got some allies going on. We're playing 64 points. There's a tournament in about a month. Without further ado, this is Rob's army. They're painted as Canadians, but go through your list with what you got.
So these Canadians that are painted as Canadians with some World War II guys, because I don't have enough of the infantry, are actually my U.S. company of 2 platoons with dragons, filling in for dragons. Then I've got the rest are played as Germans for now.
Well, but the rest of the Americans are
sorry, the Americans. Yeah, these Canadian-looking M113s are American
with toes.
ITVs. Yeah. I've got 10 Leopards.
Yeah.
Played as Germans.
Yeah.
I've got 2 Gepards.
Of course you do.
2 teams of Fliegerfaust that look like Canadians but are really German Fliegerfausts.
Love the Iltis.
And I guess that's it. I think I've got about 62, 63 points here or something. Didn't do the math at the last minute.
So you're using the Germans are your main force?
Yes.
And then the Americans are your allied
allies,
force, so out of stripes.
This small company.
So okay, awesome.
And the ITVs.
And the ITVs, yeah. And so these have the hammerhead, even though
yes.
The hammerhead rule. Okay. And I too am taking some allies. I'm taking 55 points of Soviet Guards motor rifles. So I've got this motor rifle company right here. So it's 12 BMP2s. Basically, I've got all the fixins except the Gremlin team and the extra BMP, purely because I'm just short the BMPs. So there's one company, and there's my second company of them, BMP. The models are BMP 1Ps, but the turrets are BMP. They've got the good missiles, so they're BMP 2s. And I've got my battalion commander over there. And then in support of that are 2 Hinds, and that comes up to 55 points. And then, again, because now we can take allied formations, I'm taking an East German T-50. Well, it's out of the East German book. I've got 1 command T-55 and 2 units of 4 T-55s, so basically just second-line troops. We're basically, because he's got Leo 1s and I've got T-55s, it's basically like the Battle of 1977. We've rolled no retreat, we haven't deployed yet. Turns out I'm defending, no retreat, so I'm going to be over here. And we are also using these awesome new mats.
From Cigar Box.
Wicked. And so this is on top of your
regular terrain.
Yeah, so you've got regular terrain, so the hills are built in. And these are reversible, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a wasteland on the bottom.
Okay, well at least it's not the exact same, so that's pretty good. So I think it gives a great look, but I mean once we deploy it'll look obviously a lot better. We've got all of our stuff out, so we'll catch after deployment. Alright, so we are deployed. I deployed over here. I've got the BMP2s are against this hedgerow here. The infantry, don't mind the guys up on the roofs there, but that's my HMGs, or my PKMs are in these taller buildings. The rest of them are in and around the town. I've got another motor rifle company over there, and their BMPs are in ambush. I've got the T-55s in reserve, and the Hinds are in reserve. Nobody can ever accuse Rob of not going for the throat. So he deployed his Lukes, spearheaded him up to here. Then he's got 3 Leo 1s, the CO Leo 1, Gepards, another unit of Leo 1s, and then another unit of Leo 1s. All fairly close to my lines, because these 2 Lukes were able to, when they moved up in the spearhead, they can be more than 6 inches apart if they're line abreast, so he did that. His ITVs are up here on the hill. His plan, I think, is to, even though I'm concealed and gone to ground, is to wipe out my BMPs over there, which is a good plan. His Fliegerfausts, since I do have air, actually.
Yeah.
I've got Hinds. It's just right now they're useless to do anything else, so they're just going to chill out. But they got range 48, right? So they got a pretty good range. And then over here, he tried spearheading. That guy failed his cross check. And then the mech infantry are all in their vehicles. And I think in the woods, and I think only because he gets to go first. So I think he's planning on, you know, a crazy section attack on my guys here. So here we go. Battle, 1977 battle. Here we go. So Rob's cunning plan, run these guys up. We haven't done the dice rolling yet, but over here, his plan is even more cunning, is getting within my minimum range of my BMPs. So even though I'm concealed and gone to ground, I'm hit on 3, so those guys are going to melt on 5s. The Leo ones each have 2 shots apiece even after they moved. So, yeah, we'll see. But I mean, at least the plan is coming together here. So these 50 cals are going to shoot infantry block line of sight, but they're over. So they're going to shoot over there. These guys are going to move up, and he's leaving the dragons behind. He's got his mech CO over here, so it's going to be crazy. I've never seen somebody roll more 1s for firepower than Rob just now. So all of this, plus the ITVs in the back, only killed 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. And the rest of them are bailed out, and I did make my morale here to stay on. Over here, his infantry proved to be the best shots. He got a ton of fives up, but being dug in is what saved me here. I only lost 1 stand. I couldn't move it. I couldn't bounce it from an RPG back to an AK-74 team, but they are pinned. So this is how turn 1 ends. He still has Gepards. And remind me again, Gepards, even if they fired on your turn, they can still fire AA on my turn. It's just if they fire on AA on my turn, then you can't shoot them next turn, right? Something like that? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Oh, I think that's the way it is. So we'll see what reserves I get, and I get ambush. And I got to decide the ambush before I see if they get back in. Because in a perfect world, I would just literally just recycle those and just crossfire. But we'll see. So at the end of my turn 1, I moved all of the AK-74 teams up. Did a lot of pinning, but he made a ton of saves. So I didn't even push any, just 2 platoons of infantry here. I didn't push anything below half, but they were both pinned. Even my HMGs, I mean, they made them pinned, but he was rolling saves like a maniac. And then over here, I had moved these lads up from over here. There is a little bit of a hill here. It's hard to see, but they did have to crest the hill in order to shoot. All I was able to manage was 1 bailed. I did get a couple guys back in, but they just kept missing and kept missing and kept missing. There's a couple guns that shot at the Gepards just so to clear the way for my Hinds. And I was able to not kill both, but I was able to knock one out, and then he failed his motivation. Or his ability. Or I bailed him, yeah. So now it's your turn 2. You don't get everything's on. So now it's just straight unpinning, and if any of these guys unpin, I'm in a world of hurt. What's their
I think
morale?
I think I need a 4. I don't know why.
New dice. Your commander is there. He's within line. He's within.
Oh, let me try the commander. Jock Campbell.
Well, no. He just gives him. No. He just gives him a +1 if he's with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not a reroll anymore. Well, we'll have to look it up. Oh boy. And then see if this one Leo crew gets back in. Their remount is 3, I'm guessing. Sweet. I'll definitely take that. Although now I'm going to MG the ever-loving hell out of my dudes. So yeah, the battle for this Germantown is getting quite ugly. So at the end of Rob's turn 2, he moved everything up. And still a plethora of misses and 1s to bail leaves 1 guy left alive, and I passed my test. Over here, I took a billionty shots. The pin guys killed a couple. The Lukes killed a bunch. The 50s killed a lot from the M113s. And then these guys unpinned and caused some damage here. I'm pinned, but I'm still above I'm still above. Well, Good Spirits is 3, right? I'm still thinking in old Flames of War terms, Flames of War version 3. I got to get out of that. So they're still in Good Spirits, but they're kind of spread out. So that is that. It is going to be my turn 2. I've got an ambush that can come in, and I've got potentially 2 reserves. The Gephards are dead, so that's good if I want to bring Heinz in, so we'll see. That's right.
If I could just ever make a save.
Yes. My shooting in return, with moving all of these RPGs up, was pretty abysmal on every platoon that was behind the hedges. However, I was able to bail a second of the Leo 1s that was here to force them to break. In a crazy maneuver, I unpinned here and then was able to dig in with my CO on a 4+. And I only killed a couple of guys, despite the fact these guys are on the cusp of breaking. But they're the non-dug in guys. But my guy's able to dig in, should help things out. I did get no reserves, and I opted to keep my ambush for one more turn, just because what was I going to do? Put them. I mean, this is open ground back here. Like if this row of hedges was the other way, I would have. But so we'll see. So now it goes to turn 3.
Probably all your reserves.
Hopefully. Well, I get 1 reserve for sure. So on his turn 3, sorry, my turn 3, I was able to dig in. So clutch. I think we already did this. Yeah. Where I dug in and shot at his guys and did not too much. On his turn, he killed another couple of guys. I'm now below the 12, so now he only needs 5s to pin me. They're pinned. He did bog a couple of guys down. He MG'd the hell out of the guys that are in here, but I mean, they're pinned, but they're still kind of there. And the Lukes were able to exact their revenge on the 1 remaining BMP that's there, but I'm going to recycle them shortly with an ambush. So now it's my turn 3. I've got an ambush and for sure reserves, so we'll see what is what. So while we double check whether the Fliegerfausts are support or not for the German part of Rob's Canadians, as much as that sounds weird, I got my reserves of 2 Heinz. I was just outside the Fliegerfaust range and just within range of these 3 lads here. So I killed 1 with my missiles. I revealed my ambush of just tow missile BMPs from over here. Finished off the last of those tanks from back here. I lost more dudes over here. I killed, I think, only 1 guy out of here, so I'm definitely using the Firefight. But over here, I just swarmed, even with hitting on 5s and 6s. I mean, I just swarmed these tanks and wrecked them. Only a couple RPGs could reach the Lukes, but they passed their test. So now we get to the whole Allied formation part of it. So Rob's Americans formation don't count for Good Spirits. So he's in Good Spirits. He's got the Lukes, the Fliegerfausts. Are they?
I think they're part of the Gephards. So maybe
but they're not like air or artillery where they don't count, right? They're part of the Gephards, so they're okay.
But then should they have? Maybe the Gephards shouldn't have run away then.
No, because there's 2 different platoons. No, so the Fliegerfaust and the Gephards are exactly like your M113s and the Unit of Infantry. I think if the Unit of Infantry run, then the transports run, but not the other way around. I know that's the way it is for my... like, for example, when these BMPs all died, I didn't have to take a test to the parent unit.
Maybe the good listeners will write in.
Well, and we'll check it later. So far we've determined that whilst the Americans are doing well, they haven't lost very much. Let's be honest, the Germans did spearhead over into here. And only because of your abysmal firepower rolling did you not break through. So anyways, that's the end of turn 3. We're going to go to turn 4 and see what is what. So Rob's turn 4, he consolidated backwards this way to whittle my red platoon down. They're pinned, and there's only a couple guys left, but I'm still above. He's trying to use his tow missiles over there, and he did move his Fliegerfaust up, so I am tempted to just go kill the Fliegerfausts to end the game. But I do get reserves, so yeah. You know what? I'm going to try and rush up, kill the Fliegerfaust, who just moved, and gamble with my Hinds, and then wipe out that last tank unit and win. So in a ballsy move, I moved my Hinds up with the thought that the Fliegerfaust would be killed, because he moved them up again. So my HMG, with only 4 shots because they're pinned, killed 1. This guy couldn't kill him, so there's 1 left. As you can see, I moved up and I RPG'd the tank CO. But I actually did have to fire at the Hinds at the remaining Lukes. And the Fliegerfaust got 3 hits, but wasn't able to do firepower. So the firepower 5+ only. So I was able to retaliate, kill both of them. The Fliegerfaust stayed, so that's 1 unit on the board. And the Lukes over here is another unit on the board. And then he's got his allied formation. So we're just going to go 1 more turn. So turn 5 for you. And yeah. I guess your toes... Oh, you know what I didn't remember is that your toes can shoot down my helicopters. Whoops. And they got a good firepower. Alright, so the game ends with Rob assaulting the remnants of this platoon over here. There's 3 left. I am able to kill his Lukes in return. I put everything I had into the Fliegerfaust that was in this cornfield here. He made all of his saves. I even shot the Hind at him, and of course he fired back and shot down the Hind. So then I assaulted him, and of course Soviets are horrible at assault. This is the second time I've ever assaulted anything. I assaulted basically defensive Fliegerfaust and still couldn't kill them. So he's down to literally 1 German model and the entirety of his allied formation. Because he still has 3 models from this platoon here. And this one has 2, so this one's not in good spirits, but I mean...
Each have 2.
Each have 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because your commander's there, so... So these would have had to take a test at some point, but I mean, you made this one way ago. So your American formation is still hanging tight. Your main formation is decimated. My main formation is decimated. I would have had basically just this left. This infantry platoon if he had killed just 1 more, and that was just bad luck on his part. You know, and my T-55s, I mean, they just came on from over there and didn't do very much. So I don't know, Rob. I mean, you've been hemming and hawing on the... Like, you weren't even going to use the Allied platoons. You were going to use these as German mech infantry with Milans. And you've been typically using your TOW M113s as Jaguars. But now that you have the actual ability to use them as Americans, would you in the future? Or is this too dangerous in terms of losing the game because of formation? Because if they weren't a formation, and if you were playing them as Germans, you'd be in the game, and you know it would take a while, but you'd press through, I think. What do you think?
I'll think about it. I don't like being American. Sorry, all our American listeners.
No, I know, but the thing is, you're using the American rules to let you use your Canadians.
Yeah, it also lets me have more M113s, bigger platoons, and they're cheaper than the German ones.
Yeah, but that's, I think, because the Milan is better than the Dragon.
I don't know, at the end of the day, whatever models I got ready to go.
I guess, but I mean, you bought Stripes, the store copy of Stripes, we won't say from where.
But so I could have a lab company that's going to look like a Canadian reconnaissance squadron.
Yeah. Well, let's just end it there.